Good morning, students of 10th standard. How are you all? I am sure you are keeping fine. This is Father Sebastian. I am teaching you defense studies. Now, in the last year, that is the previous year, 9th standard, you had the chapter called National Security, and in that national security, you learned about the meaning because it was very important that in any country, national security is very much important. If the national security is not there, you see that a lot of problems take place, a lot of problems are faced by the country. In the national security, you have learned about the concepts like nation state, nationalism. Okay, these all things: national interest, national power, national security, which you have learned in the first lesson of 9th standard last year. And we all know why national security is very much important, because the security of the country is to be kept intact in order to live in peace and harmony. Whenever there are attacks, might that be sorry, internal or external, the peace and harmony of the country is disturbed. The 26/11 attacks, Taj attack, which was taken place, there was many serial blasts which took place in the country, and there was a lot of problem and havoc. So the national security of the country is very much important, and each country tries to protect its nation. And then we saw that there are three main defense which protect, three main aspects of the defense, that is the, or to say, three different parts, types in the defense system. That is the military, that is the army, then we have the navy, and then we have the air force. They are the ones who take care and protect the country. A lot of amount is spent on defense. So let us see the changing nature of the concept of national security. Traditionally, national security implied physical protection of the state from external aggressions. Again, I repeat, traditionally, national security implied physical protection of the state from external aggression from outside. Now we are also facing aggression within. The military dimension of security is an important part, but is not the sole component of national security. It is an important part. Okay, military dimension is an important part, but it is not the sole component of national security. To be truly secure, a nation needs other forms of security. Besides the military aspects of security, many other aspects like diplomacy of politics, society, environment, energy, and natural resources, economics, and human resources are equally important as a whole. The aim of national security is to achieve peace and harmony among people. The main aim is peace and harmony among people, that is, socio political and individual life stability through good governance, resulting in nation building. National survival, which is the core of national security, also relies on effective conservation of our environment, so that industrial and technological growth go hand in hand with environment. Ecological balance is a shared responsibility of all, as individuals, families, and communities. Another important element for our national survival is national unity. This unity is an outcome of the tradition, culture, history that makes people proud of their country. Thus, while the traditional aspect of security is important, there are other dimensions that need to be studied. In the Indian context, the term security is represented by more than one word in Sanskrit language. In Sanskrit, the words Raksha, Rakshanam, Rakshaka derived from the root Raksh, that is, meaning protecting, defending, watching. and the word Suraksha all means security. Similarly, the word Abhiyam means fearlessness, elimination of fear, safety and security. Kautilya in the Arthashastra divides the concept of security into internal and external security. Who? Kautilya in Arthashastra. Okay. Internal security functionalized as Dandaniti. Okay. Internal security functionalized as Dandaniti argues that the fundamental duty of the government is to maintain public order and to maintain, protect and increase the wealth of the country. Chanakya, 4th century BCE, otherwise known as Kautilya or Vishnugupta, was an Indian scholar teacher. Chanakya means Kautilya, okay? Philosopher, economist, jurist, and royal advisor. He authored the ancient Indian political treatise, the Arthashastra. While the traditional approach to security remains very relevant today, there are some other dimensions that need to be understood. In the decade of 1980 and 1990s, a lot of new thinking was done on the concept of security. Some of the important contributions that were made include the following. First is Willy Brandt's report titled North South. Okay, Willy Brandt's report titled North South, a program for survival. North South, a program for survival, and Common Crisis, North South Cooperation for World Recovery. This is the two reports which he edited. These reports focused on the problem of development and how military resources can be used for development of the country. Second person is Olaf Palme's report titled Independent Commission on Disarmament and Security Issues. Okay, Independent Commission on Disarmament and Security Issues. Disarmament means to not to use arms. That is called disarmament. This report suggested the approach of common security. This meant that one country cannot become secure by making the other country insecure. They must search for common security. Means I am secure and you are insecure cannot be this one, no? What do you call common security cannot be there. Both have to come out together and see. You can see that Willy Brandt was a German statesman and politician who served as Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany, West Germany, from 1969 to 1974. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1971 for his efforts to strengthen cooperation in Western Europe and to achieve reconciliation between West Germany and the countries of Eastern Europe. Next person is there, Olaf Palme, was the Prime Minister of Sweden who chaired the Independent Commission on Disarmament and Security in Geneva. He acted as UN Special Envoy to mediate in the war between Iran and Iraq. Now we have seen in the 9th standard state, nation state. Okay, nation state. Now here, what is a non-state actor? What is a non-state actor? A non-state actor is an organization that is not part of the government. It works for a specific purpose for which it is created. Some of the important organizations work in the area of environment, health, women and child development, etc. They are also referred to as non-governmental organizations or voluntary organizations. Comprehensive security. The age of globalization that came in the 1990s saw a lot of changes taking place in the world. The world became interdependent, means dependent upon each other, in the area of economy and technology. Communication became faster and cheaper due to TV, mobile phones, internet, etc. Non-state actors or non-governmental organization, that is NGOs, and voluntary organizations became more active and relevant in day-to-day life, that is NGOs, okay, non-governmental organization. It is in this context that the concepts of comprehensive security and human security became important. These concepts, like the security of the country to the security of the people and society. The main areas that are included in the concept of comprehensive security are: first is the environmental security, means a lot of damage is done to the environment, so the environment has to be protected, secured. The issues involved in the environmental sector, including ecological problems like pollution, energy problems, population issues, food related problems, climate change, water resources management, etc. These are all dealt with here. Next is economic security. You know, inflation is taking place now, pandemic, many of the companies are closed down, many people are losing jobs. So economic security also is important. Everyone should get job, poverty should be disappeared. Economic security. This focuses on the problems of poverty, employment, opportunities, etc. Then comes the societal security. Yes, societal security. Recently, we are facing about the people coming from Bangladesh to India, settling down in India, and they wanted to remove the people from here and send them back to their country. Those are known as migrants. Okay, migrants. Then again, there is a lot of conflicts between really based on religions. Hindus, Muslims, Christians fight. Religions, ethnicity or caste, high caste, lower caste, upper caste and lower caste. The lower caste people are tortured by the upper caste. So these all things are there. The societal security is required. The issues of migrants, social conflicts based on religion, ethnicity or caste are discussed here. Then political security. Threats from the political conflicts based on ideology of or religions form part of this issue. Ideology. You have one ideology and you fight for that. So there is a conflict between in the political areas too. Human security. Okay, comprehensive security, you have seen this, where all environmental security, economic security, social security, and political security are considered. But human security involves everything. Okay. Today the term used is human security. The Human Development Report of the United Nations has brought in this new thought in the security issues. The 1994 Human Development Report, that is HDR, highlighted two major components of human security that were in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights: freedom from fear and freedom from want. Freedom from fear, there should be no fear, and freedom from want, no want. Freedom from that. The 1994 report introduced the concept of human security, which equates security with people rather than terrorists, and with development rather than weapons. Okay, this is what is this one. Security with people rather than terrorists means security should be with the people, not with the terrorists. Same way, development should be and with development rather than weapons. Okay, want for development, not want for weapons. It examines both the national and the global concerns of human security. In 1994, HDR was even more specific, listing seven essential dimensions of human security. First is economic security. People must have an assured basic income. Food security. All people must get and afford to have basic food. Health security. That threat to health security is usually greatest for poor people and those living in rural areas. People must have access to health services. Environmental security. Intensive industrialization and population growth have put a lot of strain on environment. It is necessary to protect the ecosystem. Personal security. Threats can be of many kinds, like torture, war, crime, domestic violence, rape, child abuse, etc. People must feel secure and protected from all kinds of violence. Community security. People get security by being in a family, community, caste, or ethnic group, etc. Such groups offer practical support. Political security. People should be able to live in a society that will honor their basic human rights. The focus of the concept of human security is thus on the people. It focuses on humanitarian values, on the dignity of the individual, on concepts such as social justice, freedom, and equality. Human security is not concerned with weapons, it is concerned with human life and dignity. Human Development Index. Mahbub ul Haq first drew global attention to the concept of human security in his Human Development Report, submitted in the 1994 United Nations Development Programme. Haq devised the Human Development Index along with Amartya Sen, which has become one of the most influential and widely used indices to measure human development across countries. The HDI has been used since 1990 by the United Nations Development Programme for its annual human development reports. Thank you. These are the activities which you are supposed to do. Okay. Thank you.